Tula kerila kerila.
Tula mtana mtana. Asile na yesise. Tula mtana mtana. Asile na yesise. Tula mtana mtana. Asile na yesise.
Yeah, my name is Tlhobelo. I grew up here in Kutsong. I started schooling here in Kutsong in Tlhobelo Primary School around 76. By then it was very bad around the issues of apartheid. We didn't know that much around then. But what I can recall is that when I was doing my matric at the Patriot High School in 1986, the coming in especially of our comrade that we need so much and we love, our legend comrade as Van Rooyen. He's the one who introduced us now to real political issues around our township. In the beginning it was Azazing. We realized then that around the formation of the UDF in 1983 in Cape Town, then the whole thing started. I recall in the Val when the mayor, I forgot the name, the mayor was killed. Then it started spreading all over the inland of Gauteng. Now in 86 there came the idea that no, we are charterists. We are not Azanian students and whatever by then, because Azapo was leading and there was a lot of violence around our neighboring areas, Western area and Randfontein, Mhlakeng. They were fighting around the issue of both the charter versus freedom charterists versus the Azanian people. Now in 1986, the state of emergency declared 86. I still recall when I was doing matric. It was very tough in the township. It was very tough. From January up until June, we were not attending school. But then immediately after the launching of the state of emergency by the then President P.W. Botha, all of hell now went loose in the township. I recall guys like Opara Moeketsi. There were guys like Moeketsi. Moeketsi I know a lot because I grew up under his wings. He was a neighbor, my front opposite neighbor, a very, very acute guy, very much politically informed. And we could, as a youth, rely on him on most of the issues that were confronting us, moreover, around the state of the security in the country. We were getting detained, people were getting arrested and whatever. But Bratom was one guy who was almost all over around the township. He was a very prominent guy within the NUM. I think he was occupying one of the top positions within the executive of the NUM. Because I recall even one day, it was myself and other comrades can recall that we were going to meet with Ndate Elijah Bagai. By then he was the president of the NUM. In the old NUM offices that we know, the old road before you climb that highway, that side, when you were going through homes, before this new road going down the bridge, the old road to town. Bratom, Ndate Bagai asked me, hey, comrade, I was still very young. Comrade, what's your name, Digwe? I said, Ndate Bagai, what language is that now? Nom Digwe. Bratom was laughing at me in the office. He said, no, comrade Juba. When he says come Digwe, he says, what's your guerrilla name? Okay, then I could see that no. So from Bratom we learned a lot of things. I recall even Bratom, I won't forget him because I recall the MDM struggle of 1992 when the ANC, the MDM declared the defiance campaign, where we had to occupy all government institutions, post offices, home affairs offices, labor offices. I was in the company of some of the guys, but I recall the Black Mutseko was there. And then we were arrested. They picked us up. We were sprayed with tear gas in the back of the van, and the dogs and whatever were taken to the cells in the old police station there in Oberholzer. We were very much happy because at around 8 o'clock at night, Bratom came in. He was in the company, I think, of Mr. Mohale, Mr. Matikhi, if I'm not mistaken. But I know those were the leaders by then. And then they had organized, at least for us, that Mama Winnie Mandela came in together with the lawyer, Priscilla, the late Priscilla Jana. Bratom was very much involved, and he could mature me politically. Hence, when I coming back from Tembisa, after graduating from West University, I started teaching in Tembisa. 97, 98, 99, it was a temporary contract. I came back to the township, and then the other comrades moved for me to become the first chairperson of the ANC Youth League Carltonville branch. Already then, at least I was working, and then from there I became the SATU chairperson for 2 terms. I recall Bratom, by then, it's unfortunate that this thing of the demarcation, issue where the township got into a very, very, very chaotic, it was very chaotic, it was a war. The township didn't want to be incorporated into the Northwest. It's unfortunate that it took a route that we never thought it could take, where some of our leaders' houses, councillors' houses were burnt down. I had to flee the township for two months. Now I was under pressure because, according to the Department of Education, it was absconding. So I had to write a letter to the Tuli House. I had to write a letter to Comrade Test to say, no, I'm withdrawing from being a councillor because I had been nominated to lead as an MMC in one of the portfolio committees under the mayorship of Comrade Test Van Roye. But what I can recall, some of the guys that I recall mostly, like Bobra, Moeketsi, was very, very, very known. There is no one who could say that he does not know Moeketsi in Kutsu. Very short, a humble, respectful, disciplined comrade. He could lead us in many things. He tried his level best to deal with many of the issues arising around the township, the issue of bucket system, the issue of tribalism existing in the township, lack of electricity. Almost everything was not there for us as the generation of that era. Water, it was very sad. I still recall that the only tap within our street, Lebo Bratomo, where Strata Selesa by then he was the councillor. By then and there was a declaration to say such people, we must deal with them. Now I was always under fire because the old man would always refer to the police to say that I'm one of the guys who's behind the attack on his house. Hence I had to, most of us were not staying in our homes. We had teams. There were teams that were with Comrade Test, they were sleeping somewhere. Other comrades were sleeping in certain areas, but around the township in the shacks. We were not sleeping at home because we knew that the police were all over us. The most day that I recall that became very hectic, I think the whole thing started in the very same street that I grew up, Lebo Bratom. There was a tavern, Mama Sole, where at night the police came to the tavern. They killed 3 guys there. 3 guys. The other one, Maleke. The other one, it was 2 houses from the tavern. The other guy was staying in the squatter camp in the opposite street. On Sunday, everything went loose. there was an NUM conference that was being launched in the community hall. So comrades managed to go there. The conference had to be adjourned. The workers went out. That Sunday we won't forget. It was a very, very terrible Sunday. We normally call it Rona, the generation by then, those comrades. We call it the Black Sunday because on that day, there's a lot of people who were killed by the police. I recall there was this guys, Boromba, Bo Jomom there was this other one, the black, the only guy apparently who is still within that group, who's still surviving, Comrade Zolo. He's my neighbor currently now, but he stays in 16. He's a soldier because he managed to skip the country, Comrade through MK, and then they came back. I hope all of those days because we were even ourselves as comrades not understanding each other. There was this group, Sabo Jomo, Mtembu, but the late Banana, who were not following the correct route. We were disagreeing actually in terms of how to approach issues. And then others, they were seeing us as being too liberal or too lenient because those were very radical guys. They didn't take any nonsense from anybody. Hence the issue that the consumer boycott that arose. Intervene because it's a this group, that those guys were fighting some of our guys in Vietnam. Because I still recall there was even a day that they went to Patirile, whereby they Comrade Jomo Mtembu, the late, I don't know, so he wanted to reverse. So guys had to flee for their lives because they were afraid of those kinds of comrades. The struggle in this township has been very, 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 very tight from the beginning. This has been clearly a very top ANC stronghold, irrespective of the current scenario that we saw where we lost a lot of our people based on some of the issues that our people feel that the ANC has not done what it has promised them. But I recall, ka ira ya bo Bratom, by then the mayor in Braten Nzeku. Yeah, it was very nice in the township. I still recall also a very huge thing, the arrival of Chris Hani in Kutsu. We were very happy. We found out later that Moeketsi was one of the guys who had organized Comrade Chris Hani to visit Carltonville, because as workers, as mine workers, there were serious issues as laborers, the laborers and mine workers that they didn't feel happy about. So ultimately, after his meeting Comrade Chrisani, the Comrade Bratom, they asked that he at least take a walk and just see how our township Kuzo looks like. It was a mess. Everybody was happy to see, because we are seeing now Chris Hani for the first time, face to face, alive, unlike having seen him on newspapers and whatever. Because by then we know the media censorship around our leaders. The media was pro government. I think currently a need has to be done. There's a lot. Our people are still not where we thought we will be after so many years. I feel that Kutsong, even if you look at it today, you compare it to the other townships around Gauteng province. It's one of the worst. It's just like Beckersdal. They are the worst. No tarred roads. No shopping centers, no sporting facilities for children. Absolutely, there is a lot that we need to see changing a lot. in terms of the betterment of the lives of our people. Moreover, at the level of local governance, our leaders must make sure that there is adequate and appropriate service delivery to the people. We just hope that based on some of the deliberations within the organization, as an ANC member, that the organization will become renewed and it will become the ANC that most of our people sacrificed their lives for, like Abu Bratom and whatever. They played their part, and I think they are not happy currently around the situation that they see happening. Bo Bratom ke bone batho ba ne ba zama thata gore ka ira ele ya rona ge sa le banyane, but they were fighting. They were fighting. Le bo Braten, Nzeku, I knew bo bone bo Joma Mogale. The one teacher that we will not also forget ke bon Tate Matikhe, Ntate Mjojo. Mr. Mjojo, he was a teacher by then, go Pororo, leading there was this civic organization. Yeah, those are the guys that I know that we will not forget them as leaders within our community. After the fall, this demarcation, I think a lot of things never took the direction that we thought it would take, because if you could see that people were not there for the total emancipation and change of the lives of our people. It was more on a personal issues for their own gains and whatever. But we are just optimistic that the ANC has seen its mistakes, the challenges it's facing, and it's up to us as ANC members or people who love the ANC dearly that there is change within our structures. These things of cabals, because they are cabals. When you speak to a comrade, the comrade says, so to which group they mean, to which group do you belong? So it's cabals. And these cabals, obviously, they move up to the level of the region, and whatever that they will discuss at the region, it will be just cascaded to the ground based on what they think. For instance, look now, in the current elections that we had last year, local government elections, the Ward 6, I think it's a Ward 6 issue where Thabo, this guy called Thabo, I forgot his surname, but it's my product. I taught him go Hlanganani Primary School. The father is Fanyana. The boy was one of the guys that the community was running after to stand for them in the local government elections. But he was not given that opportunity. Apparently, as I asked him, even comrade, I think it's comrade Khalema Mutlante or whoever, he mentioned, but it's one of our top leaders to say, issues around elections, they'll be dealt with after elections. That boy, he won. He took that word from the very same comrade who was as a councillor. And the community was not very happy about her around Extension 3, because if you go to that community, it's a mess. It's a total mess. Sewage leaks, the crime in there, unemployment, it's very bad. The boy took the word. Now you see the issue of couples where it's leading us, based on the fact that woman, they knew her incompetencies. She's not incompetent enough to took that position. But they put her in. Now, immediately when the elections results arose, they could see that we have messed up here. For us to take the municipality, we needed one. And to occupy, it was to be 51. So I think they had to go negotiate Comrade Thabo so that he joins the ANC, and we can take over the municipality. Comrades, thanks a lot. There's a lot that I could have said, but the history of that township, Kutsum, I grew up in that township. I was once the chairperson, as I indicated, of the AS Youth League. I led it through SADU. I was affected by the demarcation. I was also, I recall, the first chairperson of COSATU, Carltonville branch, when it was formation of COSATU. It was through the efforts. There were guys like I recall it's Reggie or who, or comrade, now he's with Fedusa. He was the chairperson by then, but the guy was medication. I forgot some of the guys. One is getting old. But we agreed through them that I must lead. But then I was the chairperson of SAT. It was Nehau, NUM, Pop Crew, Dinosa, Samu, and then I came out as the chairperson. It was not a very long period. I think the structure itself was very dysfunctional because we could not agree as different affiliates of COSATU in terms of how to approach. Moreover, the alliance itself, the Communist Party, COSATU, and the ANC, so that we can see to it that all of us, as we move, as the workers, we lead this struggle from different areas where we are. Wedela, Kokosi, Kutsong, whatever. The COSATU must be there so that it can link with the Youth League, the ANC, the Women's League, Communist Party, so that we have a very, very strong structure that will try its level best, that it does what is expected of us as the liberation leaders of the then period.